Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video and we're here on a Friday, ladies and gentlemen, for a game on the Sunday, which means there's some things to actually break down and discuss, and that is why we're here a day earlier than normal, because there is just so much to actually talk about, you know what I mean, and I didn't want to carry that weight in to the weekend. Nah, I want to try and enjoy my weekend and hopefully start up here and end up here Rangers Football Club. But I want to talk about it. I want to discuss not only the dust settling from Wednesday and Sunday and that, but what's ahead of us as we play Hearts in a semi-final, ladies and gentlemen, and it just shows you how different a week can actually make in terms of your mindset, because what was going to be another fantastic day, fantastic this, has now just become one of the most important games of our entire season, because everything could be gone in the space of 7 days. And truthfully, I'm still a little bit miffed in how this has all happened. Like, take me back, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll get there when we talk about the Rangers in, because again, it's going to be very Rangers heavy. I know I try and balance the previews by splitting the time for each side, but I feel like this one's going to be pretty Rangers heavy, as there's so much to actually discuss and there's so much I want to talk to you about. But as always, it is a preview video, so we're going to honour that by looking at tomorrow's opposition, and we're going to find up a wee bit of an update and see how Hearts have been getting on since we last faced them. At that point, they were the most informed team in Scottish football, and they got absolutely slapped doing 5-0 versus us. Remember when we actually played some nice stuff? I'm not getting into it. The new, but aye. How have they been getting on since? Well, it's got to be said, ladies and gentlemen, Hearts have actually responded very well since getting their arse handed to them 5-0 by what was a rampant Rangers attack, as they went from our game in to an Edinburgh derby. And look, it never went the way that the last couples went, and they certainly never played their best stuff. Or like, maybe they were still licking their wounds from getting hammered for Rangers, but the most important thing today, if you can't go ahead and win your derby, make sure you didn't lose it. And that's what happened as they came back from 1-0 down thanks to a goal from Lawrence Shankland. They followed that difficult week up with a game versus Celtic at Tynecastle, in which they were absolutely outstanding to a man and saved every Rangers fan's blushes as we bottled it versus Motherwell. Well, Hearts saved our blushes as they put Celtic to the sword 2-0 again, thanks to another brilliant performance, big performance and brilliant goal for Lawrence Shankland. The more I look at it and the more I talk about it, I still in disbelief. This football club didn't look at him and say, aye, he's the missing ingredient. Amazing what a goal scorer can do, eh? What a win that was. But contrary to the belief, it isn't just Lawrence Shankland FC. They've actually got some other players that's been really stepping it up and having big moments. So moving away from Lawrence Shankland and looking at Hearts maybe is just a sort of overview of how they've actually played. They've played 7 games in total since actually playing us. Again, Hibs, Celtic, etc, etc, with the only loss that they've actually received in those 7 games being against Ross County, thanks to a Simon Murray goal. No, I'm not getting into it. But what I will get into, ladies and gentlemen, if you're actually looking at how we're playing, how they're playing, how we're setting up with the players we've got right now, and how they're going about their business, the danger they've got from their starting 11 to their actual bench in terms of their attacking weapons, and the fact they've got a natural goal scorer that if you give a half opportunity to, it's 9 times out of 10 it's on target. And guess what, if you actually hit your target strikers, the ball usually ends up into the back of net now and again. And I honestly believe, not only hearing from the likes of Stephen Naismith because of this game, or ahead of this game I should say, there's not many better opportunities that Hearts will ever have of beating a Rangers side than going in to tomorrow, because they're playing well, they're scoring goals, they're creating opportunities. We are an absolute mess right now, and you're hearing it from Stephen Naismith. The fear factor isn't really there right now, because before a semi-final he's out here dropping quotes talking about he's no surprised at how poor we've been over the last couple games, because there's been players in that dressing room for years that's no won any trophies, and that's harsh if you want to say it like that, but it's 100% true. And that is someone in our league calling out the losers in our actual team. It's not a diddy on me on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a diddy like me on YouTube. That's someone in the game looking and knowing there's a loser culture actually going about there. And normally I would say you stick that in the dressing room, or you put that up like Barry Ferguson used to do with the old newspapers and use that for motivation. But I just didn't believe there's people in the team and the culture that we have seen in our team that can use that as motivation, because they've heard it so many times before, but never quite so blatantly in their face ahead of a semi-final. And we could talk about reaction, we could talk about this, but is there ever going to be one? We keep hearing there's going to be one, but there you are, ladies and gentlemen. In terms of the Hearts side, they've been playing very well. Again, one loss in the last 7 games, which was away to Ross County. They've beat Celtic, they have maybe rode the ruck occasionally versus Hibs, but they're scoring goals, they're looking dangerous. The only thing I would say that could be an opportunity for Rangers to really go for if we actually turn up and do our business is the way Hearts defend, as it hasn't been great, as they've conceded 7 goals in the last 7 games, and the only clean sheets they've actually kept in those 7 games have been in 2 matches. One of them versus Greenock Morton in the previous round of this cup, which you're expecting when Hearts played Greenock Morton, in a game that was dreadful, by the way. But moving on from there, and the other one, we've already mentioned it, was a 2-0 win versus Celtic. Celtic and Greenock Morton, slightly different threats in that aspect, but overall this Hearts side's usually good for conceding a goal. I just hope they concede a few. And with that being said, that's a sort of finish with the Hearts perspective, because I want to get into the Rangers, and that's why we're uploading a day early. There's a lot I want to talk about, there's a lot I want to get off my actual shoulders. So let's go ahead and talk about this Rangers team then, shall we? Because as we said right at the intro, what a massive week this could end up being, and a devastating week for this football club. If you go from Sunday to Sunday, getting beaten off Ross County, drawn versus Dundee, and now a cup semi-final, versus Hearts. It could all come crumbling down, and we might just throw it away and truly bottle it, or we can maybe start to chip away and show a resemblance a actual fight. But it needs to be massive, and it needs to be on Sunday, or genuinely the legacy a lot of these players in this starting 11 who's probably played in their last season at the football club will be affected forever, and the way we remember these players will be based on this, not on their actual highs. The way that everything has crumbled so damn quickly. And again, I talked about it in the Wednesday video where I felt like they blinked versus Ross County, but if you actually look at this side, I think it goes back further than that. And some people were saying I was being too harsh on the team and all that. Bad games can happen, bad runs can happen, but I didn't really think I was overly harsh on Wednesday, if I'm honest with you, because if you look at the run, right, and if we talk about the word bottling it and no having the mentality and needing to switch up some players, we had an opportunity to go 5 points clear versus Motherwell. Did we take it? No, we got beat at Ibrox versus Motherwell. We go into the Celtic game, we have the opportunity to go top of the league, ladies and gentlemen, with a game in hand. Did we take that opportunity? No, we started absolutely horrifically in the first half, no barely kicking a football, and we threw that one away, getting a draw. We then had an opportunity versus Ross County again to get right back at it and put the pressure on with a game in hand to close the gap, to then give us an opportunity to go top of the league on the Wednesday. The players bottled that, getting beat 3-2 for the first ever loss versus Ross County. And then when the pressure is even bigger, ladies and gentlemen, you've got the opportunity to then just win your game in hand to put it to 1 point behind the league. They bottle that as well and only take a draw. That's about as damning as it gets when you start talking about mentality, you start talking about bottling, and you start talking about leadership culture in and around the dressing room. That's your plot points. That's your big moments. When I said I feel like this team blinked on Sunday, it's been quite glaring for a wee while. But again, the biggest question I'm seeing is, how has this happened, or why has this happened? And I mean, the easiest answer would just say they're bottle jobs, and that would be it done and dusted. But I do think, and I've really tried to go through it, and I've really tried to think what happened to the Rangers side that last time they played against Hearts, playing fantastic rugby part, then coming back. People can pull it back and say, well, it was the Motherwell game, it showed that they have no go to it. But I was away in Lisbon, I watched this team deserve a win versus Benfica, playing brilliantly. I then saw them go to Easter Road and win 3-1 there, so they did show responsive, they did show quality, but it's been the last week that has been absolutely horrific, and it looks like the team doesn't even know how to kick a football. And I narrow in the Old Firm game, right? Again, I took for that game, I saw my team battle for the depths, a hole that they actually dug. I was proud of the way that they actually responded and got themselves out of the hole that they dug, right? But maybe, just maybe, that game was more psychologically damaging than we actually thought at the time, because that Rangers team, how good have they played and all the praise that they got absolutely massacred in that first half versus Celtic. Couldn't get anywhere near them, and having to fight back, I know they did with that goal and everything by Rabbi Matondo, but did that cause a couple players, couple leaders, if you're trying to use that word very lightly, to start to go, oh no, maybe we're not as good as we think we are, because it's ever since that game versus Celtic, this Rangers team has played the worst football it's played all season, and I'm talking and considering Bilbao Mania in that as well. That might just seem like a line, or it might seem like it's too harsh, but I have witnessed 180 odd minutes of football, closer to 195 when you actually start to add up all the injury time and the extra time that's been added. In 190 minutes, say, versus Dundee and Ross County, this Rangers side that we have watched that was well and truly in a title race with the opportunity to take advantage and go top of the table several times over the last little run, mustered 0 goals from open play. Dundee, Ross County, 190 minutes, 0 goals from open play. The only 2 goals we scored was a fluke own goal by Jack Baldwin, miss-hitting it and kicking it the complete other way, and a penalty kick, ladies and gentlemen. That's when I start to worry, and that's why I can comfortably look at it and say this is the worst football I've seen all season. And again, it's just came from up to right down here instantly. Has something happened behind the scenes? Has something went wrong that we don't know about? Or is this just who they actually are, ladies and gentlemen? That's the conversation that needs to be had right now. And actually leads me perfectly into my next talking point, as everyone I imagine's already seen the new Dejon Sterling interview that's actually came out, and he's talked about it. And I'm going to actually just read the official quote right now, because it's absolutely brilliant, and it's so damning in the culture that we didn't see behind the scenes in that dressing room at this football club. Now, pardon my French, we've been shit the last few games. We're fighting for a title, but the way we're playing, it's like the season's dead. I don't know if the belief is there. End quote. Now, he does say other things in that, and I'll link the full interview down in the description below if you want to actually watch it. But I imagine everyone's seen it, as it did explode everywhere. But the biggest thing for me, I know the swearing and that gets everyone's attention. He shouldn't be doing it, blah, blah, blah. I'm not want to talk any of that silly nonsense. What gets me is the final little bit right there. I don't know if the belief is there. That is a massive, massive statement to come from a player just in the building this year, playing in multiple positions, rolling his sleeves up and everything like that, and coming out and saying something like that, because that's fresh eyes that's went into that locker room and no understanding what the hell is actually going on. And it shows you maybe all the managerial changes, the coaching staff changes, all this changes were maybe no needed. What was actually needed was the culture that's being paraded about in that dressing room, with the lackey belief when the going gets tough, the tough's supposed to get going. No, start to shrivel up and become a shell of themselves. And I thought that was so damn interesting and worth saying, and I really hope he doesn't get punished and everything like that for coming out and say that, because it's not the PR answer. We've seen the PR answers. Tavernier's great at it. We'll do better, we'll have to use it for motivation, we're going to learn from it, blah, blah, blah. We've seen Clement come out, we're actually playing well, we're just being unlucky. That is such pish, ladies and gentlemen, that it makes me feel sick. But again, I know what he's doing. He's got a team 3 days, 4 days before a semi-final, so he has to protect their feelings. He needs to make them think they've got a future here next season, because there's still a lot of football to be played. And look, we're only 3 points in the league. This could happen, or this could happen, and everything like that you're saying. So he's trying to salvage whatever he can by talking up and defending the players publicly, because if he comes out and criticises them, calls them this, they'll just throw whatever toys they've got left inside the pram, out the pram, and then it all comes crumbling down, and all the pressure then goes fully on Clement. The conversation completely changes in that aspect. But again, ladies and gentlemen, all I would say about that is I understand it for A, B and C. Get it completely. But all I will say is Beale done the same. Defended the players constantly in the press. Gio done the same. Constantly defending them in the press. And the players didn't reward them at all. So sometimes I do feel like we need to be a bit more truthful in this, and I love the fact that Sterling's came out and actually said that. And again, for me, it's a very, very damning statement. Is the belief there? Why is everyone playing like it's a dead rubber game and everything like that? And I like that he called we all the time, because he's not been perfect either, and this isn't somebody coming out and firing shots everyone else. No, he's just saying that it's no collectively being good enough, but he doesn't know if the belief is in that dressing room, and that's huge for me. And it explains why you can get beat 3-2 off Ross County. You can draw 0-0 in the most uninspired game I've seen versus Dundee. Because why it's happening, ladies and gentlemen, the leadership there isn't good enough. It's no driving the standards up. It's no grabbing people by the scruff of the neck. There's no accountability to drag your game up. It's just kind of what happens with this football club and with this Corey players, and we've allowed it to spill in and inject and infect the new ones. I love these comments. It's truth and honesty, and it gives the fans an insight of what's actually gone wrong, and it calls out others. That's somebody joining this football club who's still a young laddie, calling out experienced players. That needs to be the skipper. That needs to be the vice captain. That needs to be Lundstrom. The guys that we get told are leading this dressing room and doing that, they should have been the ones coming out and doing this. No, a young fullback that's played everywhere but his actual natural position to try and help the actual team. And I know some people say, Tavernier said something very similar 4 years ago in a magazine. That's no anywhere close. I know there is people that genuinely defend Tavernier. I'm usually one of them. But that quote that he said years ago was nowhere near what actually happened here. Let's stop the silliness right there. Sterling's fired a warning shot and gave a wee bit of a shock to the team to actually wake up and play the football. Will they respond to that? Let's find out, ladies and gentlemen, because all the coddling, all the cuddling, all the PR answers for year upon year, manager after manager, coaching staff after coaching staff, hasn't worked. Maybe a public jab like that will get them back to who they can be. And it might just be the thing that we need to get back playing football against a very difficult Hearts side that is rip-roaring and looking at us licking the lips. That shouldn't be happening, but that's fully on the player. It's not on the manager, it's not on the assistant manager, it's not on the coaching. It is on the players that's allowed the Hearts team to be licking their lips ahead of a semi-final thinking, right, we've got them right now. It's fault for everything that's happened in the last week. It's time for them collectively to take responsibility and remember who they play for and who pays their wages, lift their game back up to where it should be and get back to playing football. Now, will they? History will suggest no, ladies and gentlemen. Overall, they will falter to deceive and everything like that. They say any great, unlucky stories. That's a lot of their careers. But I just hope, and again, I'm going to be in denial, as it's my football team, that might just give a wee bit of spark up the arse, cause a couple angry conversations, just cause a bit of sun in there. You know, show me sun versus Hearts, because you showed nothing on Dundee when you got cuddled by your manager and cuddled by everyone with their PR answers telling you you'll show a response. You showed nothing on Wednesday. Now you've just been called out publicly by one of the players. Will they turn up now? Let's hope so. And that's all I've got to say about it. Everything remains the same regarding the players' injuries and availability and everything. If there is anything breaking from obviously today when I'm filming it a day earlier than normal, I will update it. If you scroll down to the comments, I'll pin it in there if there's any recent updates. Because you know it's Rangers Football Club. It's mad. But aye, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've really got to say. I know people want chopping changes. This guy, and this guy dropped. But we've seen this story before. It just won't happen. The only thing I would like to see going into this game, which I know won't actually happen, is Silva dropped out, Lawrence dropped out, because it needs to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, we need a midfield partner next to John Lundstrom, because Lundstrom was playing his better stuff when he had a midfielder next to the laddie. Is it Diamande? Is it Raskin? Raskin's been bombed out since the Motherwell game, and he seems to be the only guy in a Rangers top that's actually been punished this season for playing poorly. We've not seen him. Again, guys with 14 minutes and been injured for 5 months getting started ahead of him. Raskin's sitting on the bench. Now, I'm not saying Raskin's been good, because I was one of the few that was very critical of him all season long, and he wasn't up to his standard. But why is he punished and banished to the Nether realm for playing really bad in that 2-1 loss versus Motherwell? But everyone else is playing bad. Lawrence and Silva, who's playing worse every single week, isn't he getting the same treatment? Let's get players fearing for their position again. Let's tweak and change it, because you've stuck and you've shown loyalty over the last two, and they've no paid it back. These farewell tours, they just didn't work, man. Look at Scott Brown's last season with Celtic. They lost 10 in a row. They kept them when they shouldn't have. Look at Kent, look at Morelos, look at Kamara, look at everybody we keep. Look at Barisic now. We need to stop being, oh, let's give them this. If they're not performing and if they're not going to be here next season, why are they playing right now? That's what I'm worried, because have they got it in their heart? Are they going to give absolutely everything? Do they bleed this football club knowing in 2 months' time they're going to be at a different one? Are they going to give everything they've got? Are they going to risk that extra 50% that might get them in? Are they going to do this? They could pick up an opt in this. Have they got one eye in the future? Stop the farewell tours. It can't work. It doesn't ever work. And our boy Barisic shouldn't see the light of day again. And I know we're talking about the midfield. Diamande is back available now. Is he jumping right back into 11? That's a conversation, but if he is, that means Sterling's at left back, ladies and gentlemen. And the only way I want to see Sterling in the middle of the park is if Ridvan, who is a question mark for Sunday, he was 50-50 15 days ago, but now he's a question mark. I love our medical team, by the way, for this game, is Ridvan and Sterling, because when Ridvan was playing, we were playing. Offers Swift, offers directness, offers Sutton doing that side. We've not kicked the ball since that laddie's been out there, but that's what I'd do, ladies and gentlemen. If Ridvan's able to go, it's a semi-final. You probably should be good to go. Chuck him in there and put Sterling right next to Lunny if you want, or maybe go Sterling and Diamande. Maybe something a bit different, you know what I mean? Offer Son. Naismith sitting in press conference saying they've got a set way of playing, they've got set in this. He knows us inside and out because we play the same things. Let's just try and catch Hearts a little bit off guard. And I would be interested to see what a Sterling Diamande centre mid looks like. Honestly, I really would. But only if Ridvan can play left back, because I don't trust Barisic. I don't trust the farewell tours. It's time to make the big decisions. And I believe Phil Clement is the guy that can do that if there's players available to actually pick. Please, little Ridvan, make it into Sunday. But that's all I've really got to say about the game. The rest of the team obviously picks itself. You know where we're going with this one and everything like that. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Balogun had a cold, apparently. Ben Davies is on 28 grand a week, paid £4 million for him, and he's sitting doing tours at the stadium for free, not even making a single appearance here or there. He's living the absolute dream. And now it's just time to finish up today's video, because I want to know your opinions on it. I'm going to scroll down, I'm going to read the comments all day, so let me know how you're feeling about the Rangers team, what you think needs to change, what is the actual problem. For me, it's no Clement. It really isn't, ladies and gentlemen. He's done amazing getting what he can out this squad, but now the squad's reverting to type. A couple of months will no be here, some of them, and they're all looking with one eyes on. Well, let's play the guys that are going to be here next season. Let's see a wee bit of Sterling. Let's back him despite his public comments. Let's see it like that. And maybe I'm being naive, maybe I'm being stupid, but I'm seeing Rangers 3, Hearts 1. None tells me there's going to be goals in this game, because we have been rotten recently, ladies and gentlemen. It's probably going to be a 1-0 or a goal in it to separate the sides, but I'm going to be naive. I just feel like maybe, just maybe, that'll be the cowpoke that's needed to get us going now. And I just hope now with Diamande returning, we're going to have a midfield. We maybe be able to dominate. Can we play Sterling there? Can we bring Ridvan back? Can we play some players that are going to be here next year? That will be very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. So, there's my prediction. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, you go ahead and you enjoy your weekend. I will see you Sunday night, hopefully with a massive smile on the Nasher. Until then, take care of yourselves, everyone. I'll be seeing you 2. All the best, and bye-bye.